to the Virtual Bowl Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
Chris, who do you think the Big Brother 23 of NFL teams is?
The Big Brother 23 of NFL teams is... That is a good question, because I'm trying to think of where I would put this current season on the echelon of seasons.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to, just quality-wise, rank it?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like personality or anything.
Is it too harsh to say the Browns?
I don't think so. If you're talking about recent Browns, I don't think so.
Well, what I mean by that is that, the early... the reason why I'm going to say Browns, and then just hear me out on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that seasons 2, I would say, of Big Brother through, let's say, 10, were its grand years. And the Cleveland Browns have a very, great, grand history, back in the day. When Jim Brown was around, and of course they Bernie Kosar and all them, and then they took a dip to the point that each and every single season got worse after the other, and I think that's kind of when generally speaking, Big Brother was at its worst, and it was in the recent years, and in recent years the Cleveland Browns have not been good. However, we reached this season, and you could say, all right, it's another dominant alliance that's kind of, taking control of the game. But I think what's different about this one was that, one, their strategy is actually rather impressive for a group that doesn't really win a lot of competitions overall. And this is all people who, for, the context of all this, it's okay if you do not know what we're talking about. But, whatever. But and what's also really nice is that this is the dominant alliance of this house is filled with black people, which is really good.
Yeah.
Compared to past seasons.
Yeah.
Because in past seasons, the big alliance were all white people getting out the black people early. Which I know when I initially said that, people were like, "Wait, what the fuck?" But just trust me, it's cool. It's really nice to see. Holy crap! The first of all, the diversity for the season was much better than recent seasons, ever actually.
Every season
has been just mostly white people, and then one black person or someone who's Asian, and that's or just just one of each, and that was it. It did not go deep on that. The fact that this season you had 8 minority contestants in this season, I felt made it a lot better, and the 6 black house guests that were in this season decided to work together and be look, let's have each other's back, and all of them are still in the game. And it's impressive. I'm not in love with all of them. I think that there are some that are playing a little too hard. There's some that are not as there's some that are more likable than others, but that's what happens with every single alliance and every single season. And
that's
generally
just how the characters are,
right? And generally speaking, it's a much more interesting game from a game point of view. It is so much more interesting overall compared to past dominant alliances where all they did was just win and knock out the weak. This is actually methodically taking out the stronger threats in the game and doing it in a way that's really interesting. And I feel if we're going to turn back to football with the Cleveland Browns, they're now also taking the analytical approach, and they have all the talent on their team that they're starting to potentially win games. They may not be the best team, and this may not be the best season of Big Brother, but it's more interesting than in past years.
That you came up with that really quickly, and I'm very proud of you.
This is all we did not rehearse this. This is all just me because I've been thinking about this, not the NFL comparison, but
right.
I've been thinking about how this season is just it's a dominant alliance that is not does not appear dominant and actually is doing things that are socially is really cool. And I think that it has made the season a lot better to watch overall than in the past. What for you? I know that you are somewhat in agreement with me, but like, what has been your thoughts about this Big Brother season? And do you have another team in mind?
I did not have a team in mind. This might be the favorite season that I've watched personally.
Really?
Granted,
Excellent.
I've only watched since 15, and the only real contender for me is 17.
17, interesting. I have to rewatch.
I like 17.
Yeah, I have to rewatch 17 because
the Vanessa Russo experience.
Yeah, because she was entertaining to watch, even though you did not like her ever. Like,
I feel like I would enjoy it more. Spoilers, knowing that Vanessa loses.
Yeah. But that was really interesting.
But that fucking Steve HOH win at the end. Oh my God, was I riding high?
Yeah, and Steve Moses is just generally like.
I love Steve Moses.
Yeah, he's just an excellent person. But
no, but I'm really digging 23.
This is the most I've dug a season in a while. So
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. And I'm sorry for anyone who's out there who's like, "What the fuck is a Big Brother?" just you gotta just trust us. It's a reality show competition that everyone's in the house.
These are our podcasting roots.
Yeah, that Big Brother Survivor and football is really where that was our initial circle of podcasts before TCP happened. So.
The monster is hungry.
Those CBS promos are like, wow, they're very dramatic.
I don't know what the monster is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like they're really hyping it up to be like
unless it's a sixth grader running around the island with a Nerf gun.
I'm telling you, man. Like if it ends up just being like this one contestant that's there just to cause chaos all the time, that was my first Big Brother season, was that they had that, and then they voted out the monster week 1 and without realizing it, and I was just like, God damn it, they just ruined that twist completely. It was a saboteur.
That's right.
Yeah, but yes. Anyways, well, thank you guys for letting us just go off on a Big Brother
8 minutes of Big Brother.
Yeah. Welcome to everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. We're in the thick of preseason, my friend, and I wanted to we'll definitely go into a little bit about what's happening on that front, some news. But today's episode is going to be our draft episode. Now, last year we did this whole show, we brought in our broadcasting personas, to kind of guide us through that. This year we wanted to kind of ease you guys in a little bit, better, kind of like just explain what has happened, because we did the draft last week and we've been chipping away at the assigning statistics to each of the each of the players that are on each of the teams. We're not finished with that. We'll be finished with it hopefully by next episode. And then we wanted to kind of give you guys a lowdown what happened in that draft, who is behind each of these teams, and by the time you see this podcast, you'll have seen that all the logos and the roster information would have gone out live on Twitter. Basically, the moment that it comes out.
Yep. Check out at Virtual Ball Boys and also at Walsh Animation.
Yeah, Walsh. Yeah.
Who posted who designed the logos for us, and oh my God, they're works of art.
It's his best work by far. Of like between. I mean, obviously it's only been 2 seasons, but this is he has clearly grown.
He stepped it up. Last season they were really good, but this season he put so much effort into them that it's amazing.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So and of course the uniforms which you worked on, they look great. Thank you. I ended up making collages for the rosters. So you guys will be seeing those. All those should go live around the time of this podcast going up, as long as I schedule things correctly, which sometimes I do not. So we'll get into all that, all the VBBFL stuff that you're interested in. But I know we are a football podcast. We gotta talk about real life football, what's happening in the world of football. A lot of interesting stories But I wanted just to turn to you, Matt, first, and I wanted to ask you, from anything that you have seen about preseason, I know that you have probably one instance to talk about that you'd like to talk about in a quarterback in the Bears organization, but any takeaways thus far from what you have seen of preseason football?
Do the Eagles exist?
Are you? Is this a reference to yesterday's game? 35-0. Yeah, not great.
I know that Jalen Hurts wasn't playing, and I know that Joe Flacco isn't that good of a quarterback anymore. But they had they had the rest of their starters, right? I couldn't tell.
So I believe that the defensive line was not starting. Which that's probably their meat and potatoes of their team. Really, is Jalen Hurts and the defensive line, which is Cox and Graham, and all the stars on that front. Kerrigan also is on that team now. I think that might be his first season on the Eagles. I don't know. But yeah, no, that was a complete obliteration, and I know that it is when Mac Jones was going up against like the second team reps and stuff, but he's looking good. I think the Patriots should absolutely consider starting him over Cam potentially, unless they really feel it. But Cam also did not look that bad yesterday.
No, Cam looked pretty good.
So if you want to roll with Cam first, that might be evidence you could point at that potentially to be like, hey, that works. But yeah, that's that 35-0. Not that it really matters.
The score doesn't matter. I don't give a shit about the score. Just what did they do?
Yeah,
it wasn't much.
Yeah, it really felt like a quiet off season for the Eagles overall, because we know that they're rolling with Jalen Hurts. But that was really like the gist of it. They drafted the wide receiver in the first round.
Yep.
Devontae Smith, right? That was
Heisman winner Devontae Smith.
Yes. So we know that they were getting him weapons, but we know that the offensive line is not where it used to be. It could get back to where it once was. And then the defensive line is still fantastic, but then again, like we didn't get to see that yesterday. But oh man, yeah, that's. I don't have a ton of faith in this Eagles team, because I think the back end of their defense is still rough, and I don't know. It didn't feel like they improved a ton this offseason overall. I think my big takeaway of this preseason thus far, I feel like I am not super concerned about the Dolphins this year as much as I thought I was. I thought the Dolphins might take a nosedive, but I feel like Tua's, from the one game that we've seen of his, but I feel like everyone kind of wanted to write Tua off early, and there was this idea of like, oh well, he didn't do well in his first year. He's clearly regressed. Get another quarterback. Even though it's like, dude, fucking, it's 1 year. It's just 1 year, he's not. It's not like this is Josh Rosen, who got drafted high up in the first round, but was not this superstar in college. He was well known, and he had good play in college, but the Cardinals knew that Kyler Murray was a better talent, and they decided to go with him, and ultimately it ended up they were kind of right about that, because Murray did play relatively well last year before his injury, and then Josh Rosen's now out of the league, essentially. Like, I don't even know where he is. I think he was on the Raiders. Like, I don't even know where he's at right now. Tua is a different story, because Tua was a star in college, and he kept on making throws that were unbelievable, and he had some of those throws occasionally last year. He did struggle, but I feel like I'm looking forward to the Dolphins this year, because I feel like everyone's writing them off and thinking like, all right, well, the Patriots are easily going to end up getting second place. At least they could win the division against the Bills. I'm not at that point, though. I think the Dolphins have enough talent on that team to still try to get to second place and maybe even compete against the Bills if Tua goes back to where he was, and I don't see a reason why he can't.
No, I think that Tua's got a lot going for him, and has some really good support, and will take a second step because he was a rookie last year, and not all rookies light the world on fire immediately.
Right. Yeah, and I do remember everyone, again, criticizing the Cardinals for their decision to swap out. I feel like the criticism would have been so much more warranted if the Dolphins decided to move on from Tua.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it would be such a shame. But I'm kind of in on the Dolphins this year, at least being like a wild card team. I want to hear your thoughts on Justin Fields.
Oh my God, Chris, Justin Fields is a good quarterback. What the fuck? Like, I knew this, and I knew he would be good, and I knew he would be drafted to be good, but the fact that we fucking got him is still baffling to me in the first place.
Yeah.
And then he turned out to be a good quarterback.
Well, for one preseason game, but yes.
In a preseason game, yes, but like you're supposed to look good in those.
Yeah, and he's still a little raw. Like, you could tell, like, he holds the ball a little too long, but like he had so many fantastic moments in that game. He had the great touchdown that he did. There was this one other throw, that he kind of moved to his, whatever it is, right, and like just threw a perfect dart. Like it, he had so many moments of just excellence in that preseason that I'm like, he has to work out. And I know that everyone's kind of jumped on Andy Dalton because he did a press conference where he said along the lines of like, Fields is going to be a great quarterback, but this is my time.
It was so sad. I'm so sorry, Andy.
He said it a lot more humbly than I think people kind of writing it down would have realized. No, I know. It. But the intent was still there, and it was just kind of like, I hear it. I respect the confidence, but I'm very much sensing that, like, if Andy Dalton gets to start week 1, I'm going to take a guess and say that Justin Fields is either going to start week 2, or he's going to come in earlier than that and like come in like week 1 at halftime.
You think Andy's going to be that bad against the Rams?
First of all, let me just say that, like, I am not as tuned in to football as I have been in recent times, so my analysis could be completely fucked. But I look at the Rams this year, and I do think they're going to be a very good team. And I think
they are.
I think
defense especially.
I think their defense is going to be a problem. And I look at Andy Dalton, and I look at that offensive line for the Bears that just lost their rookie left tackle potentially for the season, and they're going to have Jason Peters. Jason Peters is going to be filling in for that spot. Who is not who he used to be. And man, I not to say that Justin Fields might also struggle behind the same offensive line, but I also feel like Fields is easily more mobile than Dalton is. And I just feel like if you're gonna throw your rookie in and you're gonna get him reps and you're gonna get him used to playing football, I just think that you do so. It's an interesting question because it's like generally like, what is the right thing to do? Because Justin Herbert,
I don't want to see him get pounded.
That's right, and that's the thing. Like, Justin Herbert last year came in had a bad offensive line, but played fantastically. And that was after they tried to sit him for a good while, but playing Tyrod Taylor just doesn't work out for you. We know this.
Yeah.
When it comes to, but then you go and look at like a Patrick Mahomes situation, and obviously Patrick Mahomes is, greatest quarterback right now in the league, but you look at him and he sat an entire year behind Alex Smith. I think that Alex Smith knowing the system though was a big benefit to keeping him the starter for an entire year.
Totally. You don't get that with Dalton because Dalton is new to this team as Fields is. Mm-hmm. And I think that Fields is the type of quarterback that Matt Nagy wants to use.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like people felt that way when when Mitchell Trubisky was drafted.
Well, okay, but Matt Nagy was not the coach when Trubisky was drafted.
Was he? I forgot.
No,
Okay.
John Fox was the coach Trubisky's
right.
first year.
Well, because I think that like in Matt Nagy's first year, obviously Mitchell Trubisky was much better, and I think that the reason why Trubisky was better was using his mobility, and they for some reason scaled that back in recent times. I feel like maybe they just didn't trust him to be mobile, but that ended up hurting him in Chicago. I wonder if they wanted I don't know what the read on Trubisky was, that they felt like they could not do the same things that they did in 2018. But I'm hoping that they take Herbert seriously as a talent and they use it to the best of their ability. Excuse me, Fields. Yeah. I'm getting the two Justins confused.
It's fine.
the two last names. I'm hoping that Fields is used to the best of his ability, because I think that it could really be just an amazing showing for the Bears if they just let him play. It would make the Bears so much more spicier than having Dalton behind there is right now. I'm trying to think. I don't think there really is much other takeaways outside of that from my perspective, at least. I mentioned this on Twitter. I have so much Giants memorabilia in my household, so it's gonna be hard to justify me wanting to disown myself from this team. I'm so done with the Giants. I don't know. Earlier this offseason, I was saying like, oh, okay, yeah, the offense is looking better. Maybe if the defense can reach the levels that they were last year, maybe it could be good. But there's just something, the vibes that I'm just getting from this training camp, and from my understanding of like Joe Judge apparently just being like ruthless in training camp, and then you have John Mara come out about the taunting rule that just got like, they're now doubling down on the taunting penalty now, and they're gonna fucking ruin any like fun smack talk and shit that's gonna happen. He came out and he was just like, yeah, we don't want that in our game. We just don't want that in our game. It's just it's not. I'm paraphrasing, but it's just like, it's not nice. It's just not nice to do. Do we need to have more sportsmanship out there? And it was that moment that I was just like, God, I hate everything about the New York Giants. I hate the owner. I'm not that big a fan of the coach. I hate the general manager. I don't care about Daniel Jones as a quarterback. I don't really care about any player on the Giants at all.
Yeah.
I don't care about them. I don't care about anything. I don't want to root for them. If they start winning, I'm going to think it's a farce. Like, I am so done with this.
Remember when every Giants fan was so upset that they weren't going to make the playoffs as a 6-10 team?
I know. I was kind of too, though, deep down. But even still, though, it was. I think the reason I was upset, though, was from the chaotic side of me. That's like, I just want utter chaos. Give me a 6-10 team in the playoffs. Like, I don't care. Like, just give me give me weird. I'm all for it. But I don't know, man. First of all, sports, the rules of the fan rules are dumb, and how we kind of be like, you must be committed to one team, or you must be committed, or like all these fucking bullshit fan rules that people make up, or it's nonsense. Like what you like, don't fucking listen to people about how fan culture should be.
I used to be a Patriots fan.
Yeah, you
can change.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so like I fully recognize that. In that stance, I could just leave the Giants whenever. But there is this like small part of me that is like, I wear Giants sneakers. like I am not, I have Giants memorabilia, and I'm just sitting here being like, I want to disown from all of it. Like, I don't know. A part of me just wants to be a free agent and just latch on to teams, which I have in the past. That's what I have been doing. So we'll see. if the Giants start winning and I start cheering them on, I guess you could call me a bandwagon fan. But you know what? Go fuck yourself. Because I want fun and I want to enjoy things. Don't get mad at people who want to just enjoy things. Bandwagon fans are awesome. All right, they just want they came here to have a good time and they don't want to be hurt. All right, fucking bastards. So that's where I'm at. I mean, there was really nothing of note that I wanted to talk about from a preseason point of view. It was just the reports of like fights breaking out in training camp, which is fine, whatever, the fights happen, but just the reports of Joe Judge just being like an asshole to people, and then like there was a whole story about Kelvin Benjamin and how he was not being told told a straight story about why he was getting cut, and then him blaming Joe Judge and saying he's never going to succeed in the NFL. I don't know if that's just him bitter grapes or if there's something more to that. I don't know.
Prophecy prophesized.
There you go.
The Oracle Kelvin Benjamin.
So just real quick rundown of some other news that's happening. When we recorded, this was only just beginning, but more kind of came out basically in the week before I uploaded that podcast episode. But essentially, just a reminder, Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson, both of them are out with the same exact injury for 5 to 12 weeks. It's looking more like 5 weeks, which is good, which means that it would probably put them right at the cusp of starting week 1. But the Colts seem like a little bit of a messy team right now because they don't have their starting quarterback, and so they're relying on the likes of Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger from Texas. And this is a team that is expected to do well and make the playoffs again, but I don't know. They're such a confusing fucking team. The Colts are like the Colts are one of those teams that I'm just like, it could go either way. They're just so weird in the way that they end up like playing out these games. That like the talent seems to be there, but they're not as talented as they were like a few seasons back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are you at with the Colts? And just out of curiosity, what you understand of the Colts situation.
They felt pretty strong. I wasn't super sold on Carson Wentz, but I liked the other parts of the offense. Yeah. Obviously, still a good defense.
Yeah.
Carson.
Yeah, that's the
Carson.
Thing. I'm like, I think that's the thing too about me being hesitant about this team, because even if it is Carson Wentz, like you said, like, do we think that Carson's going to even return to what he was back in 2017? Like, I don't know. It's been like 5 years, 4 years since then, which is kind of wild to think about that it's been that long. But like, I don't know if he can be the same person that he once was. And also, Carson Wentz is on a good timeline. Where's Quentin Nelson? Is he going to do the 5 weeks, or is he going to get 12? And then in that case, then Carson Wentz is going to get beaten around like he was when he was playing for the Eagles. So like, who knows? Carl Lawson got ruptured Achilles. That was a big time defensive line signing for the Jets. So he is out for the year. Big time loss for them. Because that could have made things interesting. That was a key piece of Robert Saleh's team. I don't expect the Jets to do well this year. And
me neither.
That on top of putting that on top of it's not going to do well. But I'm hoping to be wrong, because I kind of want to root for Robert Saleh. I want him to succeed. So I'm hoping he surprises us. I hope this is like one of those like Carolina Panthers situations where last year we were like, this is gonna, at least I and many people, I think you were maybe a little bit higher on them, but
of course I'm always higher on the Panthers than consensus.
Yeah, but I think a lot of us were just like, they're probably gonna be like a 1-15 team, and they weren't great, but they were a lot better than we thought they were going to be. That they ended up being like, the 7th or 8th worst team in the league, not the 1st or 2nd. So I'm hoping it's one of those things where good coaching maybe pushes them a little bit closer to 500 than to lower than that. There were extensions for Darius Leonard, Jamal Adams, and Josh Allen over the course of our break. I think those were all solid choices.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on the Michael Thomas thing that happened?
Oh my god!
So to give you guys context, so essentially Michael Thomas was supposed to get some sort of surgery on what was the injury? I forget what it was, but he had an injury near the end of last year that he was supposed to get surgery on. He did not, and up until recently, where he had the surgery, and now but because of how late he had it, he's going to be out for like potentially the first half of the year, maybe less than that. But Sean Payne's not happy because he went out on a press conference and was like, "Hey, he should have done this earlier, and now we're going to be out without him for the start of the season, and this sucks." Michael Thomas then goes to Instagram saying that cryptic messaging, as most players go to Instagram doing.
No, as most wide receivers do, specifically wide receivers.
Specifically wide receivers. And says essentially, well, that's his side of the story. I hopefully will get the chance to tell mine. That's not, paraphrasing, of course, but like I love this. I love drama so much. I love this drama so much. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. But like, I do wonder, like, who's in the wrong here? Who did the Saints not tell him what to do, or did he just screw up and not get his fucking surgery when he's supposed to?
There was shit about like him like avoiding calls from the Saints too. Like,
yes,
literally couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I think I don't know. Maybe there's some players out there that just think like, well, they don't need me until like June, so why even care? But it's a full-time job.
I'm looking back at all the best ball drafts I've done, and I'm like, oh, I could get Michael Thomas in the 7th as like my 4th wide receiver. That'll be great. And now I don't feel good about picking him there.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably good to like have as like just a backup, situation of sorts, but yeah, it's not ideal, not great. The last bit of news that I wanted to refer to before we move on to breaking down the VBBFL draft, we have lost someone, we've lost a prominent member of the NFL community to being released. Tim Tebow, the great Florida Gators and NFL legend, who is just amazing at everything that he does, never to be questioned, was released by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad that I'm gonna fall down like he did in that one block.
It is amazing to me these coverage that this fucker got as a backup tight end.
He's Tim fucking Tebow.
I know. I get it. I understand. I understand that it's. I don't know. He's just the guy that wants to keep trying and trying to prove that he can be something, and I can respect that to an extent. But at some point, just like give up. Like the baseball thing, I was like, okay, I can get that to an. I know I was annoyed with it regardless because I just don't like Tim Tebow as a human being, but like I get that because he did play a little bit of baseball in college, as far as I understood, and that. The Mets were like, fuck it, let's have him, let's have him just work in the minor leagues, see if he could be any good. Never ended up getting above that level of baseball. To sign this dude as a backup tight end, a position he never played before, why? Why?
Well, because a lot of quarterbacks convert to tight ends, and Mr. Urban was just trying to do him a favor.
Sure.
Keith Urban.
I like it's just like for me, I there's so many people who fight like hell to get into the NFL, and Urban Meyer is just like, yeah, you know what I'm gonna use a roster spot up on? A dude that has never even played tight end before at 31 years old or wherever the fuck his age is.
Good news. He's not taking it up anymore.
Yeah,
we can move on. We don't need to mention his name ever again.
Yes. Yeah. Rest easy, Tim Tebow. Rest easy. Moving on to VBBFL stuff. All right. So we commiserated late or early last week. I think it was Monday last week. Where we got a group of our friends who were very interested in participating in the VBBFL. They each picked a team and then went on to do a player draft. And we got 12 players per team that covers the video game and animation spectrum. And by popular demand, we were returned to drafting balls as well, which we'll get to later. And so, but yeah, we're going to talk about each of these teams. We're going to talk about each of the logos, and uniforms. And we're just gonna give you guys the breakdown about what the fuck happened on the Monday, August, what was that date? 9th? August 9th? Yeah.
Was it not the 16th? Was it not 4 days ago? 5 days ago?
No, it was last week.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It was.
It sure was.
We went. We had to go back to August 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into it. We're gonna start with the Ketchikan Cosmos because that was the first overall pick. The general manager for this is a newcomer, but one that is not new to TCP. She has been around every once in a while for the Gaming Coop and Table Party. You probably have heard her voice on Table Party, especially showing up in ads now, which I think is really funny.
Yes.
Is Skylar. Skylar, who is Walsh's wonderful girlfriend. So she is. So she decided to take on the Ketchikan Cosmos as her team, and she had the first overall pick. Matt, who did she pick as her number one overall pick?
It was Sugar Mama, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I don't have the sheet up.
Yeah, the draft board's in there.
Yeah. So, Sugar Mama from the Proud family was the first overall pick. I think this is excellent. I think that she is such a great, such a great character for something like this that we can pull from.
Yeah, absolutely. I dabbled in Proud Family when I was younger, so I don't remember a ton. Wasn't Sugar Mama like secretly like super strong too?
Probably. That seems like the type of thing to do in a comedy show with an old lady.
yeah. Like so, that I think was that was the gist of it. But to give you the entire roster of how the Ketchikan Cosmos look at the moment. The starting quarterback is Sugar Mama. The backup quarterback is one Bob Parr, who you know as Mr. Incredible himself, right? That's the main superhero name for him?
Yep, Mr. Incredible.
Okay. For running back, we have Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls. And then for wide receiver, Bugs Bunny, classic, and a return of one contestant from last year, Jack, aka Big Boss from the Metal Gear Solid series. So that is a change of position as well.
Change of position, change of team.
Yes, yeah, because ultimately he was on Walsh's team, now on Skylar's team. Then on the offensive line, Helen Parr. So that is Elastigirl.
Elastigirl, yes.
Yes, and then also your favorite, Matt. BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman, favorite show.
Yes, maybe not favorite character.
Maybe not favorite character.
And then
great character. Do not aspire to be him. But great character.
Please do not aspire to be BoJack Horseman. On defense, we have Cyborg from the was it Teen Titans? Teen Titans. And then Jorgen von Strangle from the Fairly Odd Parents, which
I like to scrub on the fairies.
Maybe my favorite pick of this entire draft. It's up there.
I love it.
And also Baymax from Big Hero 6, another great pick. And then the kicker, another Proud Family character, Oscar Proud, with those tall legs.
Yeah.
Kicking the football. Yeah, so what's your thoughts on the Ketchikan Cosmos?
I think it's good. Definitely only one video game character. Mm-hmm. The rest animation. And I believe that this might be one of the only teams with 3D animated characters.
Ooh, everyone else was 2D?
Off the top of my head, all the other animated characters, not video game, but animated characters, were all 2D.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had to think about that. Isn't the guy, who's the guy from How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh, Hiccup. Okay, we got 4 then.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's we will talk about Hiccup later. Spoilers, yeah. He was picked. Yeah, I really love this. This is up there among like my favorite rosters because I know them. that was a big barometer of like whether or not I like a team because it's whether or not I know the characters, and I pretty much know every character on this list in some capacity.
Yeah. I think Aang and BoJack and Jorgen von Strangle are my favorite picks on this team.
Oh yeah, I love Jorgen. I think I sneakily like Elastic Girl for an offensive line pick.
Yeah,
the idea that you could stretch your arms out to stop the defense from coming. Like I think that works a lot well there. Yeah, overall I'm a big fan of this one. Let's look at that logo. That logo from the Ketchikan Cosmos. I have it. I think they are probably on Discord. That we could look at them if we need to describe them in deep detail. But yeah, so basically it's a K that's in the middle of like a Saturn-like planet that has like this purple haze around it. Purple ring, a black planet, right? Am I reversing that incorrectly?
Yeah, black planet, purple rain.
Yeah. And just a K in the center, and that was like, that might have been the first logo that we got, I think, but it kind of started this trend of like, oh, we're doing textures this year, baby.
Yeah.
And I do love the Ketchikan Cosmos logo a lot. And could you describe the uniforms for us for this team?
Once I find them, I definitely can.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so uniforms, purple and black, obviously the colors. The home uniforms are purple tops, purple pants with black accents and black numbers, and then the away uniforms are white tops with purple numbers and black pants. I tried to do I tried to kind of space out which ones I gave like different color top and pants, which ones got the same all the way down. Usually I did a different color pants for home and away. Just kind of depending on what looked good with the team.
Sure. Yeah,
but most away uniforms are based on white. White is the main color for them.
Yeah, no, this was a very it was a very beautiful set of uniforms. I think you did a very good job. And by the way, just as a note, for anyone who paid attention last year in terms of the uniforms, we actually ended up editing some of the logos last year to kind of fit on the helmet. But this year, because the logos are so fucking good, we are like, you know what? We don't want to tweak these. So we ended up just going without the logo on the helmet this year. We're doing a very Brown style here of just we're rolling without the logo, but that's okay because it's still the colors are what matter, and it does look good. Next up, the Wauwatosa Fireflies were the second pick in the draft, and this pick was none other than Resident Evil 8 Village, Resident Evil Village's own Lady Dimitrescu. Dimitrescu. You all know.
Dimitrescu. You know her. You've seen her. You've had to crane your neck to look at her in the eye.
So some of you have
feelings
for her.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Hi, Ace.
Hot and bothered, a little hot and bothered overall over here. Yes, it is the tall, milky mommy of the Resident Evil Village.
I refuse this. I refuse you making this the promo.
No, I will. Not only you're stepping in now because I'm
stepping in now to tell you that this will not be the promo.
It's because I look for the laughing spikes throughout.
I know.
To try to find for the promo. God damn it. But yes, she is the first overall pick. It was the highest drafted defensive player, so she is on defense for the Wauwatosa Fireflies. Would you like to read the roster for Wauwatosa?
I would. All right, so Wauwatosa's roster. For quarterback, we have Brain from Pinky and the Brain. And Izuku Midoriya, who I forget what they're from. Oh, My Hero Academia.
That's it.
Yep. I knew them when I saw them. For running back, you got Duolingo, the Duolingo owl.
This was
this is called Duo.
This was one of those picks that were like, are you sure this counts? But we did say that it's animated character from any kind of form of media, and the app is a media. But I love it. I love it. Yeah. It's such a good. We could keep going, but it's such a good pick.
All right, we have Taylor and Pew Pew for wide receivers. I don't know who these characters are from.
So Taylor is from A Short Hike. If you played the game, it's the turtle with the red headband that you retrieve the headband from, and then you have another task where you can bring it back to them. And then Pew Pew is from, I believe the cartoon is a self-titled
called
cartoon.
Pew Pew. Okay.
Yeah, Pew Pew is and it's just this tiny little cute little bird. You could watch the YouTube. It's Molang and Pew Pew is the name of the show. And it's just about this little tiny bird with their friend, this larger bunny, and they all go on adventures together, and it's really fucking wholesome, and you all should fucking watch some of it, because it really makes you just feel the warm feelings inside that make you feel good. This is the opposite. This is the opposite of Lady Dimitrescu. The different types of feelings. Go ahead, keep going.
All right. We have the Great Fairy from Breath of the Wild specifically. We have Detective Dandy Man, who you know.
Yes, from The Sims Busting Out and the Herbs and probably other Sims games. Those are at least the two that I know from.
And then Tubbs from Neko Atsume, just a large cat, absolute unit.
Yes.
Lady Dimitrescu, who we mentioned. Claude Frollo, who I think that her defense is going to get along with each other.
Yes.
Although one's a vampire, one's like extremely anti-vampire. So maybe not. Ooh, that's a storyline for us.
There you
go. Dee Dee from Dexter's Lab and Spiders Reeves as the kickers.
Spiders Reeves, of course, is from was it Miss Spider?
Miss Spiders, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Spider's Sunny Patch Friends is where Spiders Reeves comes from, and please spare yourself looking up a photo and just look at the art that I ended up creating, where it's just his face, because that's really that's the defining photo.
That's all that you need. I remember when Kelsey drafted him, I remember just being like, hearing where it was from, and I was like, oh, it's not that motherfucker, is it? And it absolutely was that motherfucker, because that's just the type of person Kelsey is.
Yeah, I love it. What's your favorite parts of this team?
Honestly, I really do like that defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that their aesthetic matches so well while also being at very warring viewpoints. I think it's great.
I sense this team being very defensive heavy, even though it's just 2 defensive players. I can just tell that like I could tell the offensive line's gonna have some defensive qualities to it as well. I sense a strongly defensive team on this front, but yeah, I mean, I love the inclusion of Duolingo, Pew Pew, and Detective Dandyman. It's just like, it actually warmed my heart that she picked a character from the Herbs, because it's one of those games that me and her bonded over from like back when we were younger. They're single player games, but like we similarly like both of those games. I think that she was the one that ultimately got me into that series.
Nice.
But yeah, love that. Love that character selection for Wawatusa. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't even think we said it's Kelsey that was the person that drafted.
Oh yes, Kelsey drafted Wawatosa.
Wawatosa Fireflies. So she this was her entire team. So she moves. So she stays out west ultimately. She was Anaconda. She actually just goes a state over. A few
3 states over.
3 states over, yeah. But still, it's just a bus drive.
I remember you telling me you not knowing state geography well past the east, and that is.
I know state geography well. I forgot what state it was.
Gotcha.
Kelsey was the one that said that she doesn't know state geography well.
Oh, okay.
She was the one that would argue that like Utah is in the Midwest or whatever.
Oh no, fuck that! Oh my god, that's horrid.
But I don't know if she would do it seriously or just to get under your skin.
It would work. All right, uniforms. So
yes.
So, black and yellow color scheme, but I went with, like, a little bit, like, faded black and, like, lemonade yellow as these colors, and I think they turned out really good. I would make, like, actual uniforms with these colors. Because I think they look really good.
I love it.
So their home uniforms are all black with yellow numbers and accents, and then their away uniforms are white with black numbers on the top, and then yellow pants. They look fucking clean. I'm really proud with these uniforms. These get my favorite uniform stamp this season.
Yeah, this is a really good set of uniforms, and then and just to mention too, the logo that is the fly with the instead of actually looking like a lightning bug or a firefly, it has fire coming out of the side of its back end, so it looks like it's like a rocket almost, but it looks great. It matches obviously with the firefly element, and yeah, like this is like I think this is the perfect, probably the best example of like the colors being used perfectly matching with the thing that we are associating it with.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a great combination overall. I'm super excited, happy and excited about how that ended up turning out.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Next up, the Naples Astrogators, drafted by my good friend Jacob.
Yep. Brainerd Paladin last year.
Yes. All right, would you like to go through the team?
Well, yeah, so first things first. The first overall pick.
First overall pick. Bandit Keith from Yu-Gi-Oh!
There you go.
When he sent me his draft list, I told him that I was going to make it my personal mission to make sure that Bandit Keith was on his team.
So so Jacob couldn't make it live for the draft.
Yeah.
And so Matt was drafting for him. And yeah, that's why I was first overall.
Yeah, well, he moved it to that when I told him that. I don't think anyone else was drafting Bandit Keith. Bandit Keith would have been the backup anyway.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, was this the character that you said was capitalism personified?
No, that's the other one.
Okay.
This guy's just like, I'm American. That was his whole personality.
Yeah, just wielding guns, drinking beer.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So Bandit Keith. But in terms of the rest of the roster, just let's give you a breakdown of that. The backup quarterback was Ash Ketchum of the Pokemon fame. The running back is Zoidberg from Futurama and Preston Garvey from Fallout. New Vegas? I don't know. One of the Fallouts.
I think 4.
Fallout 4. And then there's Stroheim.
We skipped him. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Forgot to update it on this list. We're gonna Scout from Team Fortress 2.
Yes, there you go. Scout from Team Fortress 2 is the new face, is the new wide receiver for this team, because we swapped out Stroheim because he's a little problematic. Wide receiver, the second wide receiver, Dick Johnson, who you may know as Secret Service guy from Mr. President. And if you do not know what Mr. President is, it's a Steam game where you're defending the president. So it's just a Secret Service guy.
We're gonna call him Dick Johnson.
Yes, because Dick Johnson was the name that was used on the Steam page to refer to this guy. So that's what matters. Next is Craig from
Krieg.
Excuse me. Sorry, there's gonna be a lot of mispronunciations during this. Krieg from what? I fucking forget. I actually made the images, and I'm now just completely forgetting their placement.
Borderlands.
That's it. Borderlands. Doom guy from Doom, as you know. That's those are the two offensive linemen. On defense, you have Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then Seto Kaiba. Yes.
From Yu-Gi-Oh.
Is this the guy?
This is capitalism personified.
Yes. Okay.
This is the guy who I was just kept imitating on call the other night.
Yes. Yeah. and then the kicker, who I think we have two kickers. The better of the two is Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat, but the backup kicker is Bobby Hill from King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
I mean, what's your favorite parts of this? Travis?
I love Bandit Keith. I love Zoidberg as a running back, and the picture that you chose of Zoidberg is fucking perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Scout is going to bring a ton of energy to the wide receiver core. Kaiba is just a great character.
Mm-hmm.
I see all this mystical shit and still don't believe in it. And then Bobby, just damn it, Bobby, just perfect.
Yeah, Bobby is. I know that I hear "damn it, Bobby" a lot. But, like, is Bobby, like, what's Bobby's personality, out of curiosity? Just whiny?
He's a weenie.
Perfect, okay. Alright, so then that's that roster, then. Logo, real quick, is what I think one of my favorites. It's a crocodile who has, like, this metalish rim around the right side and top of the logo. And it has a metal N in the middle of his open mouth, and a star for the eye, to kind of give the astral, I guess.
Yeah.
Extra astral element.
Really, really cool look.
Really, really good. What about the uniform?
All right, some uniforms. We have gray and green, and I want a little bit I want a little bit weird with these. The uniforms are basically like all the home ones are like all gray with green in the middle, and then gray numbers, and then the away ones are all green with white in the middle. It's the best way I think I can put that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty accurate description of them. Yeah, they look great. They look absolutely fantastic. Reminds me, colors wise, it reminds me a little bit of South Florida, but without like I think South Florida has like a little bit more gold than
they
gray.
Got some gold in there.
But yeah, it's a very solid uniform look there. So
South Florida also might be more black than gray.
Yes,
but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you I think you are correct.
Cool.
All right. Moving forward, the number 4 overall pick was picked by the Suffolk Nutfellows, and who else? I mean, this was not expected.
No.
Gabe, who actually had the first pick again to have any other team, picked the team that I think was disgusted by the most.
I think the one that he was least likely to pick.
And he picked the Suffolk Nutfellows.
Yep.
So Gabe this is his team in the flesh, And the first overall pick for the good old Suffolk Nutfellows was Knights from Knights into Dreams as a wide receiver.
This is not a surprise if you know Gabe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, this is the Sega guy through and through. A lot of Sega representation throughout this team. It's a great pick for who Gabe is. And this whole team is truly screams Gabe. It's great. Now, Matt, what is the rest of the roster look like?
So, rest of the roster, running backs, you have Wacko from Animaniacs and Oma Chow from the Sonic series. Quarterback. Forgot to say the quarterback is Dark Samus.
Boom.
Who Samus I think we unofficially named our MVP last season. So now Dark Samus is gonna see what they can do. Wide receivers. What?
I was gonna say, hopefully Dark Samus doesn't live in Samus's shadow, you know.
Oh yeah. Wide receivers. We have Knights and Riala. Riala also from Knights. We thought it would be funny to make very similar characters, both wide receivers.
Yeah.
Offensive line, we have Barry Burton, who I forget what he is from.
Resident Evil.
We have Arctozolt, the Pokemon. And we have an Omega Metroid. Very nice there.
Actually, I'll wait till you finish.
Yeah. On defense, we have Chaos from the Sonic series. We have Zack from League of Legends. And we have Abyss from, I forget.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
And then our kicker is Beat from Jet Set Radio.
I am so happy that Gabe drafted Arctozolt. This man loves this Pokemon unlike no else. And I was just like, I love that he found us, that he was like, I need to pick this character for this team because it just best represents Gabe and who Gabe is. So I'm super, super excited to have Arctozolt on this team. I think outside of that, I know the Sonic characters and the Knights characters I know from honestly, Knights into Dreams. I only really know a lot about Knights into Dreams because of what happened. Well, first of all, I know it through Gabe, but I also know I learned about Knights through what happened with Balan Wonderworld earlier this year.
Ah, yes,
and knowing that
video game
with Knights, how people like Knights, and it's a good video game, but it has that Sega platforming jank that people know and love. I love that these characters are also included because I just think now about how I feel like we have a little Yuji Naka like representation that's not just Sonic in our worlds right now. What about you? What do you like about this team?
I think Wacko is an awesome pick for running back. I haven't seen Animaniacs, but just look at that fucking guy.
I know. I the only thing I know about Animaniacs is the Capital song.
Yes.
I was tasked to sing for chorus back in like 5th grade or something.
And Columbus is the capital of Ohio. That one.
Yeah. But that one. I wish I remember those lyrics because I would just bang those out.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama. There's also that one.
The world.
Yeah. There's a fascinating thing about Animaniacs that I could talk about later, but this podcast is going on long enough, so I'll mention it later.
It's okay. It's a fantastic show, and I respect it from a distance.
I also I really appreciate that Chaos and Zack have very similar body and head shapes.
Yeah. It's a night that you know that they're going to be like brothers to the end, you know? Work together. This fucking logo. This fucking logo is wild. It's the one that I just felt truly represented the Suffolk Nutfellows, which I think I forget who was the one who had the found. I guess we both are, because we both are in charge of this, but
yeah,
that I as much as I did, there was a few concepts. There was another one that it was a full body shot where it was just the peanut on top was the going to be the logo, but there is something about this fucking profile head that has like this extended out like nut shape that is surrounded by this
so
end.
grotesque.
It's so grotesque, but I fucking love it. It's just wild, and that whole the skin has like the nut texture. Like,
there's nothing else that we could have done for a team name as stupid as this.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like Nutfellows, Nutfellows isn't. We made up that name, right?
Yes. Yep. No, that is our creation.
God, what a fucking day to be alive. This was the first logo that I think was teased on Twitter too. I would love to know if there was any major reaction from that, but my God, what a fucking treat this is. These and the uniforms are very interesting. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so the uniforms, blue and tan are the colors. I wanted to try with this template that I used. I wanted to try to make as close to a suit look as possible. Mm-hmm. So for the home ones, you've got kind of like a blue jacket with blue pants, and then like a tan where the shirt would kind of be, and then it's inverse for the away ones. So we actually have tan uniforms for shirts, I should say, tan shirts with a blue thing, and then white pants. And then the numbers are inverted just depending on what's there. So they're blue on one side, tan on the other, depending on what the other color is, which I thought is a pretty cool look.
Yeah, and just once again, I these are probably my favorite uniforms. By the way, there's just something about them
nice.
that I think are very unique, and I enjoy them a lot.
Cool color scheme too.
Yeah, and I just want to reemphasize as well that we have half of these teams left, but if you are driving and listening to this, or whenever you get a chance, please go to Twitter, look up Virtual Ball Boys on Twitter. You'll get to see all these in action. I'll probably do like 8 tweets with each of them being revolved around one element revolved around one team, and I will have all these logos and things like that placed on Twitter. So please take a look at these because they're just fantastic.
And then at Walsh Animation and tell them your true thoughts of the Nutfellows logo.
Yes, that's your task for this podcast. All right, next up is the Portsmouth Submarines.
Speaking of Mr. Animation,
yeah, this is Walsh's team right here. Who was his first overall pick?
His first overall pick, I feel like, was an attempt to appeal to me personally, because he drafted May Borowski from Night in the Woods for offensive line.
There we go. So that's your highest drafted offensive lineman for this year's draft. And in terms of the rest of the roster, we have at quarterback Brock Sampson from Venture Bros?
Venture Bros.
Yes. And backup quarterback, Chef from Total Drama Island and Total Drama just in general. Next up is running backs, Sprig from
Amphibia,
and Perry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb. And then wide receivers, XJ9 from My Life as a Teenage Robot, aka Jenny, and wide receiver Jolene, the future star of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. At offensive line, as you know already, May and Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Love this pick. Love Stitch.
Defense is Garnet from Steven Universe.
Yep.
And MT from Infinity Train.
Yep.
And then kicker is Enid from Enid from OKKO, and the backup kicker, Timmy's dad from Fairly Odd Parents. What is your thoughts on this roster?
This is a wild fucking roster.
Yeah.
It's all animation except for May, but May is 2D animated, so she fits in with this entire fucking group.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the MT as a pick here. I don't want to say too much about her just because her existence is a huge spoiler.
Sure.
If you haven't seen Infinity Train, I think Sprig and Perry are perfect pairs for running backs. And I love that he chose the same body type for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Brock and Chef are very similar.
Yeah. I love that Chef is on this team, and just it makes so much sense for us to have a total drama representation in the VBBFL. I love that we included Jolene because it's from my understanding, because I know nothing about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure except for what I know from Walsh, and this is like Walsh's like favorite anime, or just among them. And he and the fan base has been waiting for Jolene to show up, or just waiting for the season in which Jolene is the main JoJo to show up forever now. And so we're giving the JoJo fans what they want, Jolene in action in some capacity, you know. But no, yeah, I love this. This team is excellent. I think Timmy's dad's obviously probably my favorite pick of the bunch. But I think Jenny is sneaky good, and you know, of course Perry. Come on,
Perry matches the team colors.
Yeah. This is easily my favorite team color wise, because it's exactly my color scheme that I love so much. Speaking of, tell me about your uniforms first.
Do you want to do the logo first?
Let's do that actually. Yeah. It's so going along the lines of the submarine. The best way I can describe this is that it's a submarine that is a sandwich at the same time. And there's a Portsmouth. The team name goes across the middle meat part of the sandwich, but those parts and also the windows of the submarine have like this water texture with it, and then the rest of the submarine is orange, and it's just, oh god, I fucking love this logo the most out of anything in the world.
It took our worst team name and made it like such a it brought it up to the level of the rest of the teams.
Yeah, 100,000 fucking %. I love this logo. I love this more than anything. I think it's just I'm probably so biased in many of the elements of it, but it's just, there's also just, I love the texture of it is so good, and it's just, it perfectly represents the silliness of what this league is. It's so fucking good. Tell me about the uniforms.
So the uniforms, I had a very similar thing on both of them. On both uniforms, there's a kind of a wrap around the chest of teal, and then on home uniforms, it's orange around the teal, and then teal pants, and then for away, it's white around the teal and orange pants.
Yeah, really.
I like the way that these these turn out. Bit of a unique take on things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love when away uniforms aren't just white. I just think it's so boring. I love when they do something different with it, and this is perfect. This is perfect. A great take on that whole thing. All right. Next up, the Provo Rock Squirrels.
Nope. Forest Hills Mothmen.
Sorry, I'm going through my files and doing that order. Apologize. Yes, the Forest Hills Mothmen are next. The first pick of the Mothmen is Sanji from
One Piece.
One Piece. There you go. Matt, what does the rest of the roster look like?
All right, so the rest of the roster. At quarterback, we have... Oh my god, I'm not going to be able to say all these names and know where they're from.
It's okay. I'm going to try to back you up right here because I'm going to pull it up on my phone.
Our one quarterback, Tanjiro.
Yep, Tanjiro is from Demon Slayer.
From Demon Slayer, cool. At running back, we have Toph from Avatar The Last Airbender. Our wide receivers are Stella from Spiritfarer. Psyche from...
The Disastrous Life of Saki.
Yep, and Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. Our offensive line is going to be Shinobu from
Demon Slayer.
From Demon Slayer. Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Soul from Soul Eater. And then our defense, we've got Skulker from Danny Phantom. We have Komayata from Danganronpa, and we have Tsukasa from
Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone, thank you. And then we mentioned Sanji as the one kicker.
There you go.
Very anime team.
Yes, this is our most anime heavy team, which is where
Yeah.
my head goes. This is where it goes over my head completely.
Hey, I'm very into anime as well. Not these ones. So I also do not know. I think I know like 4 people on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to pick like one pick that I really like, it's Sora. I mean, I thought last year Sora would make an appearance, and it never happened. I'm happy to see. I don't play Kingdom Hearts, but Sora is just such an iconic character in the video game sphere, in my opinion, that like I was just like, hey, it's only a matter of time before Sora gets picked on some sort of team for this league. So happy to see Sora on the offensive line. Interested to see how that all kind of works out.
Mm-hmm. I gotta shout out the How to Train Your Dragon representation. I love Hiccup's a great pick, and I can just hear the da 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 whenever something cool happens.
Perfect. We'll play. Oh God, that was a firework behind me. And I also think that Toph. I watched very early Avatar, and I forget a lot of it, but I remember Toph being a very interesting character.
Toph was in season 2, so about like the midpoint. So I think you may have watched more Avatar than you thought you did.
I guess I did. There you go. But yeah, I love that. I love that character for running back. I think it's gonna work out perfectly. So yeah. Now let's get into the Forest Hill art. This logo is fantastic as well. It is basically this insect head. This is like the moth head with 2 large antennas that are they're just fucking present, is the best way I can say it. They are just present. They are there. They're in your face. You're like, this is the fucking Mothman. I love it. What about uniforms?
So in terms of uniform design, I feel like I'm going to have one team every year where white is going to be their primary color. Just because I think it's an interesting way to design uniforms, to have a home and an away uniform that is that where white is the primary focus. So I actually the jerseys for this team are actually both the same. They're white jerseys, but the entire left side is red, and only the left side, and then the numbers as well. And then red pants for home, white pants for away. So they're more white for away than they are home. But I really liked the idea of just like this one side of the uniform being colored while the rest wasn't.
Yeah, it's really, really unique. But yeah, I vibe with it. It's cool. And that was one of the more coveted teams. But Jess was the one who ended up getting this pick. Jess, of course, did a very similar color scheme last year with the East Chicago Blacksmith, and now is in charge of the Mothman.
Hell yeah!
All right. Next up now, I believe, is the Provo Rock Squirrels.
You are correct.
And what is the first overall pick?
First overall pick for the Provo Rock Squirrels is Leon Kennedy as a kicker from Resident Evil.
There we freaking go. I love it. All right. Now for the rest of this team. This is, by the way, Anthony, who was Weatherford Sheriffs last year. Now with the Provo Rock Squirrels. For some reason, I cannot for the life of me find the... Okay, here we go. The quarterback for the Provo Rock Squirrels is Zagreus. That's correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, that is from Hades.
The Hades protagonist.
And then there's Zane from Borderlands. I
believe so. That looks like Borderlands art style.
Yeah. Next up, that was the running back for Zane, and then Teemo from League of Legends is also a running back for this team. Next up is Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. or is that
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex? Deuces.
Deus Ex.
I think he's like the protagonist, right? Of Deus Ex.
I believe. I don't know anything about Deus Ex. Good to be honest.
I'm pretty sure he is the protagonist because he's like very recognizable from that. Then there's Volt from Warframe as a wide receiver, and Corvo from Dishonored. And then for offensive line, we have King from Tekken and Braum from League of Legends, and then Armor King on defense from Tekken, and Darius from League of Legends.
Okay, so I'm not tripping balls. Armor King is just a different alternate version of King.
I think they're two different characters, but pretty much yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding of it. I did question him on that, but I do believe they're two separate characters.
Okay.
It's just
because they are both men, but with jaguar heads.
Basically, yeah. That's my understanding of it. But I also could be wrong. And a third Tekken pick, Eddie Gordo from Tekken
joins Leon as a kicker.
As yes.
Yeah.
So this is all video games.
Yes. Anthony has an amazing talent of picking characters that I have no fucking idea who they are.
So you have no opinion whatsoever about this.
I just like it. It's a very Anthony team. I know who Leon is.
Yes.
I know. I've seen a picture of Timo before.
Yeah.
That might be the end of my experience.
Well, I love Zagreus. Zagreus appearing. These are all games I haven't played either, but I know Zagreus from the Hades games, and people love Hades, and that there's so many things that you could probably do with Zagreus as a character that kind of makes it a lot more interesting there. I know a little bit about Corvo because I watched a playthrough of Dishonored, or at least the beginning playthrough of it, and fun. Like I feel like Corvo would probably work out good as a running back, but I'm okay with the wide receiver notion of him. It's just a beefy fucking team. There's a lot of beefcakes on this team overall. So I feel like this is another team that defensively might be
could stand out
strong. Yes, for sure. This logo is another just fucking wild one. You know what? How about you describe this one, Matt? Because this is a lot.
Yeah, so I didn't know. I think I had something in mind when we picked rock squirrels because I had found okay, rock squirrels are a thing. We could do something with that. And I was like, oh, we could do like a Pokemon thing where it's a squirrel made of rocks, right? So it is a squirrel made of rocks, but it's also like got the punk rock mohawk going on, holding a guitar. Like it is a rock squirrel made of rocks that is also into playing rock. What the fuck, Matt? You just took what we had and made it better.
It's rockception up in here.
Oh, it's great.
And you have around it, you have like this. It's like this circle around the squirrel with like the pink and brown fire, effects coming out of like the top right and bottom left, and then Bravo Rock Squirrel is kind of wrapped around the wording wrapped around the circle. It's fucking fantastic. So good. What did you do with the uniforms?
So for the uniforms, brown and pink were a really interesting combination to try to make uniforms for. I think I do really like the end result though. The home uniforms are all brown with some pink kind of on the sides with pink numbers and pink socks. And then the away uniforms are white with brown accents and text with pink pants. And I like that. I like that brown and white away uniform a lot, actually.
Yeah, the away uniform is fantastic. Very Neapolitan. It's fantastic.
Yes, Neapolitan is a very good way to describe this color scheme.
Absolutely. All right, next up, and finally, on
our last team,
our team here is the Brookings War Train, whose first overall pick I got wrong initially when I was creating the art for, but is Yusuke from the anime, I believe, with the same name, right?
Yu Yu Hakusho.
There you go. I had no idea about any of those.
That's okay.
That all goes over my head. But he is the starting quarterback for the Brookings War Train, and also is the team of our reigning champion, Ricky.
Yeah.
So there you go. What is the rest of the roster looking
Rest of the team. Running backs, we have Cat Noir from Miraculous Ladybug, which is not something that I would have expected Ricky to pick. But I like I like the aesthetic. Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove. Also running back. Wide receivers, we have Min Min from ARMS and Speedy Gonzalez from Looney Tunes. Our offensive line is Juggernaut from Marvel vs. Capcom.
I think just Marvel generally.
Just Marvel stuff. And Eduardo from Foster's Home. Our defense is Kano from Mortal Kombat, a repeat for this team. Bowser, who was in the league before but has now switched teams. And fucking cheese. Fucking cheese.
Cheese from Foster's Home.
I can't fucking deal with cheese. I just rewatched Foster's Home, and I'll talk about it more when we finish recording. I can't fucking deal with cheese.
Cannot wait. Continue.
Okay, and then our kickers are Captain Tsubasa and Donkey
from
Shrek.
Love it. Love cheese.
Oh
love
my God.
Eduardo. I love Foster's.
This is a good team. I like this team a lot.
It's so fucking good. I'm super excited. I don't know if we actually did like the statting for this yet, but no, this one's just gonna be fucking wild to stat, and I cannot wait for all the crazy scenarios. Just so many characters that you can just pull from here and just be like, and just know the shit that they're gonna get into. It's so good. And I cannot say enough about this logo. This actually, I think this is my favorite logo of the bunch.
This is a really, really good logo.
I can't pick my favorite logo. There's so many fucking good ones, but this one is a train coming out of a tunnel with the bullseye in front and 4 horns just sticking out from different parts of it. 4 sets of horns, I should say. It's just insane, like the kind of embery bird background that's going on there. It's so good. Tell me about that uniform.
It is the War Train.
Yes.
All right, so the War Train uniforms, we got orange. I haven't talked about the helmets at all for any of these. It's fine. You can look them up on Twitter. Orange jerseys with yellow shoulder decorations to kind of make it look like, I guess I was trying to do like some sort of like armor type thing. So yellow shoulder pads with white pants, and then away uniforms were white with the yellow shoulder pads again with orange pants. I basically flipped the orange and white for home and away.
Very, very nice. It looks so good. The combination of those two colors, I think, is not something I really see anywhere.
No, this orange and gold.
I feel like most of these are not colors that you see many places, but I just love it for this. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And one last thing before we sign off here. Yes, I was told that the ball draft was fun and people enjoyed it. So we're going to do it, and we're going to try to incorporate it into our storytelling this time around. So without further ado, the Ketchikan Cosmos will be using Mike Wazowski as a ball.
Great one to start with. The Wauwatosa Fireflies will be using the Jungle Blimp.
Yes.
From something.
I believe it's Kelsey could tell us. It's from an app game, I believe.
Okay. From Disco Zoo?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Yep. And then for the Naples Astral Gators, it's the soccer ball from Rocket League. So
the most ball, like...
But this giant ball that you're carrying on your fucking shoulders,
yes,
throw it.
I like it.
But you know what? If Bandit Keith can throw anything, it's that soccer ball. You know?
He can. Bandit Keith is the only one in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who's used a gun. But 4Kids said no. Suffolk Nutfellas have drafted the luxury ball from Pokemon.
I believe we did. I believe that Gabe actually had the luxury ball last year.
I will check.
He had some. I think he had a Pokeball of some sort last year, but might be a repeat. This is where we get into some.
He did have the luxury ball.
Okay, so there you go. Luxury ball is back, and we're gonna use it properly this time. This is where we get into some weird territory, but I'm okay with it. Yep. Whatever. The Nickelodeon blimp is the ball of choice for the Portsmouth Submarines.
The one that they give out as Kids' Choice Awards.
Yep.
The Forest Hills Mothmen, for their ball, are drafting the Zim Zam Zoom hot pickle chips from Table Party.
How can we say no to that? I mean, it does not match any of our criteria.
No, but it's fine.
It's great. It's fantastic. And then the Provo Rock Squirrels will be tossing around the Resident Evil briefcase, which honestly, probably the most tame selection of the varsity.
Maybe luxury ball, but
yes, but even still, that's still insane.
And then the Brookings War Train will be using Poof from the Fairly Odd Parents, the baby,
who everyone hates. Oh my god. I can't thank enough everyone who came through and participated in the draft.
Listen, Chris and I do a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
And we often ask our friends for a lot of crazy shit to indulge us. They fucking understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yep. They really took our idea of hey, let's do something weird, and they made it fucking amazing.
Right. Yeah. And I know this is for some people out there that would listen to this podcast and be like, this is not my thing. I'm not at all into it. But if you know, you know, and it's just a fun, crazy time we're going to have this year. Even though right now, my knowledge of these characters, some of these characters are just completely nothing. I have no idea. I'm looking forward to learning about them through this league and then kind of crafting our own storylines through it. I'm just excited for the storytelling element of this league. I'm super excited. As for how we're going to, do the league this year, as I've said before, as we've done before, we're going to be doing live streams of this on Saturdays. I do have something in mind for recording purposes for podcasts that I want to run by you, Matt, at some point. Ooh. But we stay tuned. We'll give you more information on that soon. But let me just say before we're about to sign off right now. But I just want to let everyone know that we have one episode left before the NFL season. One. We're down to just one.
Yep.
And I think for that, we're going to do some season preview stuff. Not a ton, because we're going to do a lot of it prior to week 1. That will be our premiere episode for season 3 of Virtual Ball Boys. But I think we might even stat our fake teams that we drafted earlier this year, and maybe do a practice game with the new rules that we've implemented earlier this year as well. So
if you could make graphics for those too, that'd be
I'd be down.
Awesome.
Luckily that's a good time away, so I have plenty of time to make those. But yeah, so nothing next week most likely. We will start basically. This is going to be the end of our 2-week gaps between episodes. Starting after this episode, because I think the following week, for our final episode of season 2, will be. That will be the start of weekly episodes through February.
Oh boy, it's time.
It's fucking time.
It's time. We're
so into it. I'm so excited to hopefully get my mind wrapped around the NFL and get started on the VBBFL. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and again, thank you, Walsh, for the logos. Matt, you did a great job with the uniforms, and everyone who participated in the drafts. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate your contribution to this weird fucking idea that I'm so looking forward to executing over the course of the fall. And with that being said, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Good night, and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.